friends, so today's video is going to be another favourites, or maybe this one went up first before my regular favourites. I'm filming a couple of favourites today. One was makeup and this one is magic. So yeah, this is everything that I've been really enjoying from the spiritual magical realm, if you can even call tea magical, but a lot of people would, so threw that in here. Yeah, this is everything that I've just been really enjoying and loving over the last few months in regards to like the magical spiritual realm of things. So if you're interested in that, get excited because we're gonna be talking about it. Okay, let's do that. So, okay, the first thing I want to mention are some crystals and tarot cards. Now, these things I've had, well, most of these things, well, actually, no, that's a lie. I was going to say most of these things I've had for a long time, but that's an absolute lie. My decks, okay, these are two of my newer decks. They're both oracle decks. And the first one is the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. I've done, I think, a flip through video of these, so I won't go too much into the imagery or anything, although it's beautiful imagery. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And the back of the cards is probably my favorite part. This is what really drew me to it, which is so stupid because that ultimately doesn't mean anything, but I'm a very visual person. I think it's beautiful. Anyway, this is an oracle deck, and on it it's got like your phases of the moon, which I love anything moon themed. I'm very drawn to it, so it's another reason why I was drawn to this card. But it's also just got like a one single word to kind of think about and guide you, basically. So it's got like darkness or boundaries and discernment, which was a new word I've had to learn recently because I get that card a bloody lot these days. So faith, you know, there's just, you know, you get the idea. So this has been really fun to use, but what has made it one of my favorites is it's so interesting. My decks, my card decks that I use for myself, I've got 2 tarot decks and a couple of oracles, 3 oracles, and I have one deck for in here when I do want to do like videos, although I've been incorporating my own decks. Anyway, the 2 decks and the oracles that I use mostly have kind of started to show personalities or really only give me guidance. Like my Ink and Intuition tarot deck tends to show me or give me guidance based around like my romantic life. Out of nowhere, it just started to just really only give me that without even me asking it to. And then my Small Mysteries Tarot seems to be more just like general everyday or like my creative stuff. And it was weird because I would use them together all the time. That's what I've done for like the last 6 months is I would use them together. I'd pull 3 Ink and Intuition and a couple of clarifiers from my Small Mysteries Tarot. But recently, as I was doing that, it kind of was giving me mixed messages. And then I figured out, oh, one is about my love and romantic life and the other one is about like work and creative and stuff. So that was interesting. But this deck has always been a little bit sassy. She's got a lot of sassiness to her, a lot of sarcasm to her. She tends to, she hasn't done for a while, but every time I pulled a card from this deck, she gave me the same card every single time, the Extreme. Where is it? The Hot Moon, Extreme. I know you're in here. And when I voiced it, when I told you guys on my Instagram stories that that's what this deck was doing, it bloody stopped. So she has some sass to her and I kind of like that. Do you think I could even find that card now? No. She's got some sass to her, she's got some sarcasm, and she tends to throw out the card that has, what was I doing the other day? I was shuffling the cards and thinking about patience or just being appreciative for patience, something patience, and she threw literally the patience card at me. So she's a lot of fun, this one. I enjoy her sassiness. I enjoy her sarcasm because I myself too can be at times sassy and sarcastic. So I respect it. I respect it. It's a lot of fun. The other deck I have is the Work Your Light Oracle card. This took me a little while to connect with. I bought this because I thought visually it's stunning, and honestly from the very, very, very minute I started looking into tarot and oracle decks and looking up tarot and oracle decks to buy my own, this was the one. It's not overly expensive. I think it's like $20-$25, but this is whether it was the universe pushing it possibly, or whether it is just because it is quite affordable and there's a lot of them to bloody sell. Every website, every ad, every time I was looking, this was the deck that would show up. So I eventually just gave in and bought it. I mean, I think it's beautiful to look at anyway, but I didn't really know anything about the deck itself. And I thought, well, it's an oracle deck. How different can it be, but it is quite a different one. It's very, 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 very spiritual, whereas these ones, like, yes, it's got the moon phases and stuff on it, but when you look at like faith, what does faith really have to do with the moon? What does acceptance really have to do with the moon? Growth, like, it's just very kind of moon themed, but basic. This is very spiritual, and it took me a minute to really understand it and to connect with it and to just have a good vibe with it. But now I love it. This gives me, it doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't work when I'm pulling a card for this to get some guidance for my love life or for my creativity, but when I'm looking for guidance, just spiritually, it gives me spiritual guidance. I've got the Ink and Intuition gives me love guidance. My Small Mysteries Tarot gives me creative guidance. This bitch gives me spiritual guidance because it is so much more in depth than just like faith. Like, it's got inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart, leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. And the book, when you go into detail on these cards, again, is a little more detailed and very spiritual. So now that I've figured out where she's meant to guide me, like, more specifically, and I do use her in like readings for like the love relationship and stuff, and it's not that it doesn't guide me for those, but it tells me how I need to be or what I need to think about or where I need to be guided spiritually within those realms. Does that make sense? She's great. I love her. I can imagine a lot of people having the same difficulties as me when you first get this card, because it was just like, what does that mean? What are you talking about? It even goes into, and now I don't know a lot about it, but Lemuria was like apparently like a past civilization very similar to Atlantis. There's a couple of those sorts of cards in here which are very just kind of like, what? Like, I don't even know or understand that, but it's helped me learn a little bit. But then you've got something really simple like the yes card. Yes. Just say yes. And in the book, all it's got repeated over and over and over 2 pages is yes. So you've got some really simple cards as well. But yeah. She's been really interesting. I've been really fascinated by her, and like I said, now that I've figured out where she's best suited for me, we've gotten on very, very well. All right, few crystals. I'm gonna get this one out of the way first because I don't really know much about it. I haven't really utilized it in any way. I bought it because I just thought it was kind of really interesting and a little bit moon-like. This is a pre-Roman Empire Chalcedony, I think. If I'm wrong, I'll put a little text overlay. And I just thought it was so beautiful. I got this from, actually all of these crystals are from Unearthed Crystals, and they have like a massive sphere of this for like $1,300. Damn, it is so beautiful. So anyway, I got myself a palm stone, and I don't know a whole lot about it other than it's quite rare now apparently, and it was first sort of discovered sort of pre-Roman Empire times. I don't know a whole lot about it, like I said, but I'm just really drawn to it. I think she's beautiful. She's got this beautiful sort of milky texture with a soft sort of grey blue. I find myself looking at her and just holding her a lot because she's smooth and she fits perfectly in my palm. It's a palm stone, it should. I just really like her. I don't know a whole lot about her. I don't know where I need to connect with her and how I need to connect with her or how is best to use her. I haven't used her, but I really like her. Next one is my amethyst core. This is such an interesting piece to me, and when I first saw Unearthed Crystals on their Instagram stories, I think they always sort of preview like their upcoming releases. They put this on there and I thought it was fascinating. I'll do some like close-ups for you so you can properly see it. But what this is basically is whenever you see, if you've seen like a cluster, like an amethyst cluster that has had like the center removed so you can put like a candle in it, this is the center that gets drilled out so you can put the candle in there. So this is the center that they drill out, and then apparently they just throw them away. Which broke my heart. These are so beautiful. Like the detail that you can see, like it's beautiful from the top, and that is generally where most people look at it, but I'm like, look at it from the side. Look at the side of it. You can see all the way in. There's so much detail. There's so many little rainbows all down along this side. I've purchased another couple. They just restocked. the cause. I think they've sold out now. I did purchase another couple just on Saturday. My parcel has been sent. It should be here tomorrow. I'm excited. But I just think they're so cool to look at, and I wanted a couple so I can have like, I mean, I don't know how tall the other ones, but I wanted a few different sizes to create like a little family. I don't know, I just think she's beautiful. But what I really love and appreciate about her is amethyst is a very calming stone, right? So it's good for anxieties, stressful situations. It can be really good to put by your bed or under your pillow if you've got like a smaller piece to put under your pillow. Although saying that, I've got a massive piece under my pillow that I will talk about in a minute. But generally speaking, a smaller piece is going to be a lot more comfortable. This would not work well under my pillow, but it's meant to help you, like, you know, keep you calm and drift off to sleep. It's also meant to help assist with like anything sort of intuitive or psychic if you have any kind of abilities, or if you want to strengthen those or sort of dive a little deeper into those. Amethyst is meant to be an exceptionally good one. What I have used amethyst for mostly, I have a couple little like necklaces and stuff, is calming. And that I think is initially what started this whole thing months ago, was like anxiety. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I got a little necklace of amethyst, and then it just has snowballed from there. So mostly what I've used amethyst for is stress relief, anxiety relief, peaceful dreams. I had an amethyst tumble under my pillow for a little while, so I put her on my space where all my other crystals and where I keep my tarots. I just had her there because that's where I sort of unpacked it, and I put it there, cleansed her and whatever, and put it there, and she was there for a little bit. Like I put her down and I didn't really think about where I put her. She was sat there for a little bit, and every time I was shuffling my cards and pulling my cards, my eye went to her and I could not stop looking at her. She was also next to a piece of clear quartz, which is an amplifier of energy that I didn't really know or think much about at the time. It was just where I put them. It was just where I put them without even thinking about it. And still, like, I cannot stop looking at her. She's so beautiful. But I didn't really think about it, you know, she was there, and then when I did think about, okay, where am I going to use you? What are you going to be great for? I thought, well, I'm going to put it next to my bed. I've already got a piece of amethyst under my pillow, but she's a nice big piece. She looks beautiful sitting there. She's absolutely stunning to look at. I don't want to put her under the pillow because she's stunning. So I put her next to my bed. She was there for like a day, and it just didn't feel right there. She didn't belong there. So I put her back on my space where she was, where I just had her next to the clear quartz. And that's where she's meant to be. That's where it felt right, which a lot of like anything spiritual or magic or any rituals, anything is feeling. That's your intuition. That's the high priestess telling you that's what's right or that's what's wrong. Listen to it. So it just felt right there, and what I've discovered is that maybe, okay, yes, amethyst is great for calming, you know, anxiety, stressful situations, but I haven't been overly stressed or anxiety ridden, thankfully, for a while. So I think what she has been really helping me for is that sort of intuitive element, because now, and I don't know if this started when I put her there, but whenever I am doing a reading and I'm pulling cards in my like space on the top of my drawers in my bedroom, I get lightheaded a lot, and I still am drawn to her when I'm shuffling and pulling cards. So I do feel like she is assisting with my intuitive feelings and stuff. That is what she is meant to be here for. She is quite possibly, I mean, this is a favorites video, so obviously everything here is my favorite, but she has, I mean, I've connected with a few crystals here or there. Actually my pendulum, I should have her here, my moonstone pendulum, she's been great, but she's probably felt the most not powerful, but just there's something about this that I can't verbalize. Yeah, she's a fave for sure. Absolutely loving her. This is a newer piece to me. And I wanted to purchase a clear quartz because when I did my video, my gemstone series about clear quartz, I found a newfound appreciation for clear quartz, and so I wanted to get some more. This though isn't any typical clear quartz. This is a Lemurian seed quartz, which has a visual difference to like regular quartz. There's lots of like vertical lines all up and down the points. The story behind Lemuria and Lemurian quartz is quite fun. Like if you Google any sort of folklore on anything magical, but particularly crystals, I guess, because I mean, not particularly, I'm just talking about crystals, but anything sort of magical and spiritual, if you Google the folklore behind it before like logic and science came into anything, it's so fun. It's so interesting to read. So anyway, Lemurian crystals. different to regular clear quartz crystals, because with a regular clear quartz crystal, you can program it. So you can program it to tune into energies or amplify energies of any other stone that you have, or any other energy that you are putting out there. If you want to put out loving energy, if you want to attract like calm and peace, you can kind of program that quartz. You just give it the intent basically to amplify that energy. Whereas Lemurian quartz, it's already programmed. And I'm not going to get into it because I don't know a whole lot about it, but Lemuria was a civilization way back in the day, like I mentioned, kind of like Atlantis, but a little bit more spiritual and friendly. Apparently, I don't know a whole lot about Atlantis, but apparently Lemuria was a lot more friendly for some reason. But when they found out that their civilization was coming to an end, they took these crystals and they buried them for whoever to find them in the future, and they had already programmed them to whatever it is, but they buried them on the earth in such a way to create some kind of a grid. So when you have one of these, you're not only tuned into the energies of the crystal, but then the energies of the earth. I don't know. There's a whole folklore behind it. Google it. It's pretty interesting, but she's so beautiful as well to look at. She's another one that when the light catches it, there are so many rainbows and sparkles. I have another Lemurian quartz on the way as well in the other order that I made. I needed another one because she's just been, like, I said, like, you don't program it, you tune into its program, and I don't know what that is, but regardless, wow, she's great. She's beautiful and I love it. She's so clear and sparkly. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Last crystal, and there is a story again attached to this one. I did think about doing, and I probably will, with the amethyst as well, I'll do like a gemstone series makeup look with it, but I did think about doing just a separate story time video on this labradorite, because, I mean, I'll probably cover a little bit of it in that gemstone, and I will a little bit here today, but this is a labradorite. It's like a slab of labradorite. It stands up. It looks like a mountain. It's got all these beautiful sort of flashy angles, even on the back, which isn't polished, but there's I want to polish it because it's even unpolished, it's beautiful. Anyway, I threw this into my order last week without even thinking about it. Labradorite is up there with, you know, connections and whatever aside. She's just beautiful. I absolutely love looking at her. I think she's so fascinating to look at when you get that sort of flash and the right angle. Damn, it's stunning. So labradorite, whenever I'm browsing sites, this is one of the first crystals I look up to see what the site has. Always. It's always been my favorite. It's always been the first one that I look up, but I always hesitate to buy anything bigger than like a tumble because I just don't need it. Not that I need pre-Roman Empire moonstone looking things. I don't need any of this, but I really just haven't like needed a chunk of labradorite. I just haven't needed it. So I've always hesitated and taken them out my cart and not purchased them. This time though, threw it in, didn't think about it, no hesitation, no buyer's remorse after the order was done. I owned it. Anyway, what I was purchasing that order that I did need, that I felt like I needed, was some black tourmaline, which is fantastic for just overall general protection, to put it like in your home or whatever, because I had a bedroom. Anyway, I'll get more into that story if I do the story time. Threw this in, didn't think about it, rushed to the order, got it like the next day, and here she is. Turns out labradorite, which I hadn't done a whole lot of research on the stone and what its like spiritual properties and stuff are, so I didn't really know much about it. But when I got this, I decided, you know what, I need to do some research and see why this time I didn't hesitate. Turns out labradorite, much like amethyst, is a fantastic sort of intuitive booster. If you've got any kind of, or if you want to like boost your intuition, or if you have any other kind of psychic ability, clairvoyance or whatever, this is a great booster for that, to work with, meditating, or even just wearing it whilst you're doing like other people's tarot readings. It'll boost that intuition, it'll boost that sort of connection to the other realms that you have, if you have them, which we all do, some more than others. If you want to work on it, get yourself some labradorite. But what I didn't realize is the protective energy this has. Whereas tourmaline is a great protective energy, and both you can use for either, but labradorite more specifically is a great protector of those sort of spiritual realms. So whilst you're meditating, if you get in sort of like a meditative state where you're visualizing things, or dreams, if you have a lot of visual sort of guided dreams, labradorite is your bitch to have by you or under your pillow, around your neck, on a ring, in your palm stone. This is the bitch you want. Tourmaline works great as well, but that's more of like a physical energy. So if you've got a lot of like electronics around you, or if there's a person in your life that is particularly toxic or draining, tourmaline, wear a necklace, wear a ring, put it in your home. This is more the spiritual. So I didn't realize purchasing it after this bad dream that I had where I felt, okay, I need some protection, and I was buying tourmaline. This was actually the stone that I needed. I was guided to buy this stone to protect those dreams that I had. So that blew my mind a little bit. And she has, as much as she's beautiful, and I'd love to just sit her out on my bedside table or whatever, she lives under my pillow. I asked my pendulum, does this want to live under my pillow? It said yes. I asked my pendulum again, does it want to live on my bedside table next to my pillow? It said no. So she sits and lives under my pillow, which is a bit of a shame because she's beautiful and I want to sit her out and just be able to see her and look at her anytime I want. But she's under my pillow. She's there to protect my dreams, which I know I said I was going to do some videos, and I do still want to do those, but they're a little more in depth. Like I take a little bit of research. And I'm kind of lazy, so I just haven't gotten around to doing those. And recently I haven't had very many dreams with a lot of like symbolisms in them that I have felt like I needed to like research and look up and take guidance from. They've mostly just been what I've been thinking about or looking at just before I go to bed. But there was that one dream that I had last week, which was, I'll talk about the dream, but it frightened me, and it was the second of the dream. I've had two of those dreams, very, very similar, where it was a frightening sort of experience, and I woke up and I knew I needed to get some protection. I just didn't realize it was this the protection that I did, or maybe I did realize because I bought it, but whether I realized it or not, I was guided to get this. I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I haven't had a bad dream since. I don't have a lot of bad dreams really, but I'll get more into the dream and what happened to it and sort of more about it. There was a tarot reading as well I had literally the day before, which kind of works in with it. So yeah, labradorite, this bitch. I was meant to have this bitch, and I love her. Absolutely love her. All right, moving on. I didn't think I was gonna ramble so much in this, but here we are. Okay. A couple of teas. Well, three. I love tea. I love tea, especially iced tea over the summer. It's not summer now, it's winter. I discovered iced tea. I mean, I've always liked iced tea, but like making it myself, and now I'm high-key obsessed. I still have iced tea usually in the morning with like breakfast or whatever. My favorite currently is, it's actually just by Twinings. It's the cranberry and pomegranate fruit infusion. This is a box of 10. You can get them on sale in the supermarket for $2. And it's just really tasty, man. It's really nice. It's berry, which I like berry teas, especially with iced teas. I like lemony, citrusy berry teas. And this is a berry tea, but cranberry and pomegranate. It's just a little bit different. It's not your regular strawberries and raspberries with a hint of apple. It's cranberry and pomegranate, and it's got that berryness to it, but just that little bit different. And I really, really, really enjoy her. I do put sugar in my tea still, because I do like a sweet tea. Not too sweet, but you know, it does enhance the flavor a little bit. So this has been my favorite for iced tea. Any berry tea though, honestly, but this one has stood out to me a lot recently. I've also got, now this I drink hot. There are particular types of teas that I do prefer hot. I prefer peppermint tea hot. Any kind of florally tea hot, like a chamomile, for example, I prefer hot. And this is very much more of, yeah, this has chamomile in it. This is very much a chamomile, just a chamomile tea. It's got raspberry leaf, hibiscus, chamomile, and fennel, all organic. This is by the Lunar Tea Co, and this is their new moon blend. So I have a cup of tea of this every new moon whilst I'm like at my little space. This new moon I had a cup of tea while I was cleaning down my space and just making everything new and fresh again. So I don't drink this a lot. I drink it once a month with the new moon, but it's really tasty. It is ultimately just kind of a chamomile, but it does have that hint of like raspberry and hibiscus, and even the fennel. I don't love fennel, but it's not, you don't really notice it. It's not overly strong. I do though notice when I drink this, I get lightheaded. I don't know if that's again because I'm like in my space and I'm, you know, not performing like a ritual, but I'm just like really focused on like, okay, it's the new moon, it's new moon energy, let me cleanse my space, let me have a nice new renewed space, or pulling some cards or whatever. Like I mentioned with my amethyst, just generally I tend to get really lightheaded now when I do that, but I get really lightheaded when I drink this as well. I don't know why, I don't know if it's something specifically in there, but it's tasty. It's really, really nice. I do drink it hot. They have like a full moon blend. They have 4 different ones, I think. I can't remember, but I would like to try their full moon blend as well, for like the full moon stuff. But yeah, she's been really nice. I really like her. This one I was a little disappointed with, and I'm mentioning it because I didn't really have any like major disappointments, so I'm just gonna put this in here now. It's the Tea Aura green tea with peach, passion fruit, and New Zealand kawa kawa. I think that's a leaf. This is new in the supermarket, and I've tried this once. I had this as an iced tea, and I think I need to try it maybe hot, because, and I know green tea generally their flavor isn't as strong as like a regular black tea, so that's probably like also why, but it really didn't have much flavor to it at all. Like even like the peach and the passion fruit didn't really come through. It smells nice, like you can smell it, but it didn't really have much flavor iced. So I do want to try it warm to see if more of those peach and passion fruit flavors come out. Or possibly I need to make my iced tea stronger, but this was a slightly more, or is a slightly more expensive tea. And again, it is a green tea, so I should have maybe just like thought and realized like, oh, it's probably not going to be as strong. So it's partly my own fault, but it really just wasn't strong. Like peach and passion fruit, yum, like that sounds delicious. I don't know what the leaf is or what that's meant to taste like, if anything, but yeah, I'll try it warm and I'll let you guys know, probably on my Instagram, but I was a little disappointed with this as an iced tea. But like I said, some teas work better for me. I find the flavors come out better when they're warm. Not the worst thing in the world, but just a little disappointing. All right, I've definitely mentioned this before, I'm pretty sure. This is an incense. This is white sage scented. The brand is P Pure. This is my favorite incense. Given I've not tried very many other brands, I've tried a few, and a lot of them tend to smell, regardless of what flavor you get, really soapy, like just soapy and not overly strong. Like the scent doesn't really fill the room too much, or at least it doesn't linger. These P Pure brand ones, of all of the other flavors that I've tried, I have a couple other ones. They're strong. They all smell very, very different. They don't smell soapy. They're fantastic. White sage is my favorite, and it is the hardest to find. It seems to be, this is the one that is always sold out. I found a seller on eBay that sells them in bulk. So I think you get 12 boxes, which have 15 sticks in it each for, I think was it $25 or something. So I bought the whole box because there's a few other sellers on eBay that sell them like individually, but the white sage is always sold out. So I was watching and waiting for ages for this seller to restock the bulk box, and they did. So I bought it. I've got plenty of white sage incense now to do me a while, and I'm very happy about it. It just smells so delicious. I don't know what else is in it. They don't really tell you. White sage incense sticks is made from, I think it's meant to be rare herb, but they've spelt it rare. Rare herb to wipe out negativity and nasty old bad vibes. But it doesn't tell you exactly what other herbs are in it. I haven't actually smelt like actual sage, like or burnt actual sage. I've heard it smells a bit like weed, which I'm not here for, and Palo Santo I don't love either. So this is what I do use for cleansing. I still have some Palo Santo sticks that I do use as well, but this I have always sat on my space, and whenever I go in there to do a reading, I'll pull some cards, I'll light my candle, I'll light incense, I'll wave this around, and I'll say thank you for the positive, loving, warm, wonderful energy that you are giving us here today. Or if I feel like there is any negative space, I'll go around and say, you're not welcome here, get the fuck out of my house. That's what I'm using this for. So I do use this for its like purification, to get rid of old nasty old bad vibes. It works well for me. It works well for me. Do what works for you. If you don't like sage. If you don't like Palo Santo, use whatever. Oh, this is a great thing actually. This is a spray. If you don't like smoke, get yourself a spray. This is also by Unearthed Crystals. This is the cleanse spray, and I got this again for the same thing that I would use my incense for. It's quartz infused mist with bottle brush, lantana, pink, shamrock, rose, patchouli, and frankincense. And again, a purifying mist to cleanse and recharge. Can be used as a general room spray, an aura cleanser, or to charge and amplify crystals. Simply spray and enjoy. So this I would use the same. I would spray it. My energy now is free of any old, stale, negative shit, so we can invite beautiful, warm, loving, intuitive greatness into our space. Yeah, if you don't like smoke, this has also been really, really great. I keep this in here for if or when I do those videos, I'll just spray, because not that incense is hard, but it's freaking messy, man. So a spray is a good, easy, quick, non-messy fix if you're also lazy. Very quick and very easy. And the last thing is my tarot book. Man, have I used the shit out of this. This is the In Focus Tarot, your personal guide. This is the book I reach to every single time I pull a card, pretty much. Not every card, but the Two of Swords was one I pulled just yesterday that I wasn't overly familiar with. It's got color images, it's got like general information, situational information, if you're asking about a particular person, and then some like questions and keywords. It's really good, it's really clear, it's really easy to figure out where in your life it could be like guiding you. They give you plenty of examples in here, plus they go over both obviously the minor and the major arcana. I love that the images are colorful, and then you've got some info in the back about spreads, or is that in the front? Yeah, there's some spread, like if you want to go and play with or read from specific spreads. I generally don't, but yeah, it's basic, but it's got absolutely everything that you need. What it is, what it isn't, and then mostly what I use it for are the card interpretations. This has been very, very helpful. I pull to this card a lot. She's given me a lot of information that I've needed. There's also a poster in the back if you want to. You can stick it up on your wall. I don't care about that. But if you're getting into tarot, and like me, if your first deck that you had doesn't have very clear imagery, I recommend getting a book, or even if you have, you know, imagery that is very clear and easy, like if it tells a good story in relation to what the card actually means, a book or even just a website is extremely handy, because not everything is intuitive. Not everything is intuitive. Everyone says just pull a card, look at the imagery, and what do your intuitions tell me? It tells me I need a fucking book. That's what it tells me. So I got a book, and it's been a great help. So love her. Anyway, that is it. That is all my favorites recently in the sort of magical and spiritual realm of things. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. I could go on and on and on and on and on about many different things, many different crystals, many different stories. All my other decks as well are great. There hasn't been anything that has been, apart from that one tea, that I've just been like, this isn't for me, this isn't right. Because like I said, everything sort of spiritual, or not everything, but a lot of it is just intuitive stuff, and just doing and feeling and being and growing in a way that feels right for you. And for me, that in turn is like the things that I purchase and spend my time and my money and invest my time and my money into. So everything has been great, and that's a good thing. It tells me my intuitive is leading me down the right path. So yeah, let me know how you feel about anything that you've been working with recently. What are your favorites? Cards? Have you been getting a particular card that comes out? Do you have a favorite card in the tarot deck? Do you have a favorite crystal? Let me know so we can chat about it in the comments below, and give this video a thumbs up so I know you like it. If you could do that, that'd be great. And subscribe as well if you want to, so I can see you in my next video. Bye guys.